In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can fight back against eBay. Now, before I get into it, this video has been reviewed by our legal team and it's been all cleared, and we will vigorously defend any claims to have this video removed. Now, the purpose really of making this video is because eBay have done a lot of horrible things to a lot of users out there, and we're not here to try to destroy eBay or harm eBay or anything like that, but we feel that the public has a right to know who they're dealing with. And in that sense, it's a bit like a smoking commercial. If people still want to smoke and they know it causes cancer, that's fine. But if they don't know that smoking causes cancer, well, that's totally different. So we are very confident that eBay is a criminal organization. I'm going to explain why that is in this video and how you can legitimately fight back against these injustices. Now, the other reason is because there is a lot of false and misleading information out there. Here's just a simple example. Someone asked the question, how do I take legal action against eBay? And this person has given two pieces of advice, which is one, contact FOS, which is the Financial Ombudsman Service. Now, one, it is no longer called that in Australia. It's called AFCA, the Australia Financial Complaints Authority. And two, you can't take eBay to the Financial Ombudsman. You can take PayPal to the Ombudsman, but you can't take eBay because they're not a financial institution. The second thing that they advise is to understand eBay's T's and C's, which is terms and conditions. Now, the whole point really of taking legal action against eBay is that they are not following their terms and conditions, or more importantly, they're not following the law. And they are two separate things. eBay's terms and conditions and their law, and the law is very different. So, for example, you could be a company, and in the employment contract that you make new starters sign, there might be a clause in there that says killing is legal or killing is allowed on your company premises. Well, if someone at your company actually killed someone, the police would still arrest them because the law is you can't kill people. Now, that might sound preposterous, but what eBay are doing is actually not that far from the truth, because they are stealing people's money, and they're doing it knowingly and they're doing it willingly. And theft is a criminal offense. And the law will override any eBay term or condition, alleged or otherwise. So that's sort of the whole point of the discussion. However, one thing I do absolutely agree on is it says you're always better to get your money back than having a vent. So you really have to think at the start of all this is, what do you actually want to achieve? Do you just want to get your money back, or is it something more? Now, if you want to get your money back, the first thing really you should do is contact eBay directly. Now, when you contact eBay on their sort of contact us on their webpage, you don't actually deal with eBay. You deal with companies that are outsourced. We don't have permission to reveal the names of those companies, but there's three main ones. There's one in the Philippines, one in India, and one in Ireland, across sort of the three time zones. And I hate to sound rude, but they're kind of the monkeys at the end of they're sort of like puppets on a string. They're only doing what they're told. They don't really have any authority. They're not particularly, really intellectual people. So it's very unlikely that you'll get any sort of difficult issue resolved through them. What your best bet is to do is to ask for a customer service manager. Now, I'm speaking specifically for eBay Australia, but there are always one customer service manager on the floor. There are actually three of them as of the time of this video. Their names are Brian, Jan, and Melissa. She goes by the name of Lisa. There used to be Ken, but I believe he's moved on. There's always one of them available, as long as you contact them during their business hours. Now, the representative that you're talking to, so not the manager, they will use every excuse they possibly can to avoid you talking to them. They'll say they're in a meeting, they'll say they're out for lunch, they'll say they're, you know, whatever. They're busy, they'll call you back. Just play their game. They're trying to wear you out, they're trying to get you off the line. These people get measured on things like average handling time. So the shorter the call, the better. Or if you're on a chat, same thing. So just play their game. So, oh, it's fine. You know, I understand they're busy. I got all the time in the world. I'm more than happy to wait. No rush. Um, and just emphasize that. If they feed you lies, which they will, just say, "Oh, I'm aware that one of them is always on the floor. I'm happy to wait." And then what you do is you start playing their game. So eBay has their own customer service policy that they shouldn't leave anybody on hold for more than 2 minutes. So as soon as 3 minutes pass, send a message on the chat and say, "Oh, more than 2 minutes have passed. I'm just checking that you're still there." Don't be rude. Don't be aggressive. Just be very sort of kind of passive aggressive, I guess, and just keep them accountable, and eventually they'll get sick of it and they'll try and get whoever you're asking for on the line. You do have a much better chance of getting your issue resolved with the customer service manager. So these are again the top level representatives. But of course, there's no guarantee. You have to have a very strong and well prepared case, which, if you're watching this video, you probably do anyway. Now, failing that, the next thing that you can do is actually start contacting people who work for eBay. So, who actually work for eBay, they're not working for these outsourced third-party, customer service agencies. Now, the CEO of, again, as of the time of this video, the CEO of eBay Australia and New Zealand, his name is Tim McKinnon. The email format for eBay is first letter of the first name and the full last name at ebay.com. And you can email him directly. I will emphasize, though, that these individuals have a very corrupt moral compass, so it's very unlikely that you will get a response from them, but you can certainly try. Here's his profile. Again, this is on eBay's corporate website, and you can see it says that he's well known to the Australian eBay seller community and he's well respected by them. I certainly would not say respect is the first word that comes to mind when I think of this guy. We have asked eBay for comment as to who they are referring to. This guy hides in his glass tower. eBay actually have pretty shitty offices in Sydney anyway. Certainly not prime real estate. This guy doesn't get out and meet the seller community at all. It's just lies upon lies. But anyway, for what it's worth, that's the dude. I love how they say he used to work for this company based in Mountain View, California, as if that's meant to be a big deal. Sophie Onacol, so she's the head of communications. So if you go to the media, which is actually not a bad avenue to take, and there have been articles about eBay in the media before. So any public comment made by eBay Australia and New Zealand comes from this lady. Look at her; she's having a ball. Look at that evil smile. So that's Sophie. So she's actually probably maybe the better person to contact. Little Timmy's probably too busy hiding under his desk. So yeah, you can try her. There's some other people there. Head of legal, head of government relations. These people don't do much. Again, it's unlikely that you'll get much out of them, but that's another route that you can take. And another couple of useful emails is the top one there is Office of the President. That's why it's OOTP. That goes to the CEO of eBay globally. Although I would assume that someone else kind of mans that email address, so they may not actually read it themselves. We've received responses before from someone called Kaya Huntington, but it turns out that was actually a fake name. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can try it. The other one is law enforcement. Now, there's no point emailing this address because this is actually for law enforcement agencies. So if you've got a lawyer or if you file a police report and the police contact eBay, this is the email address that you would want to use. Now, if you still haven't got any traction with that, the next plan of attack that you can do is the Civil and Administrative Tribunal. Now, again, this is specific for Australia. It may be different if you live outside Australia, but there's a good chance that your own country has something similar. This is kind of like taking someone to court, but kind of not. You do have to pay a fee to take your case to or in this case, NCAT. It's a few $100s. So, if you're chasing $50 or something, it's not worth it. But the advantage of doing this is that you don't actually have to hire a lawyer. So it is a lot more cost effective than actually taking somebody to court. So that's another avenue that you can take. But it is kind of a big deal. I mean, you're assigned a date, and you go in there, and it's basically like a judge and all that sort of stuff. Now, if you still haven't got much traction, the other option that you can do is to actually sue eBay. So to actually take eBay to court. Now, they are provided by law to provide an external resolution option. If you go to their terms and conditions and you go right down near the bottom, there is, again, this is specific for Australia, but it'll be similar for America and other places. There's one called Section 23 Notices, and they actually say that you can contact their legal representatives. The name of that firm is Cause Chambers Westgarth. This is their address, and eBay are kind enough to provide a fax number. So you can see just how difficult eBay tried to make it, because the regulation says they have to provide a contact method. So of course they give you a fax number. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly don't have a fax machine because fortunately I don't live in the previous century. So if you have things like a telephone, an email address, internet, then you can use other means. Now, it's also important, I think, to note, which I said towards the beginning of this video, is to think about what you actually really want to get out of it. And I would certainly never talk anybody out of taking legal action against eBay, but you really have to be very clear and focused on what you actually want to achieve. In our case, we were pursuing criminal charges because, it's not eBay. eBay is made up of people, individuals just like you and I. They have families, they have homes, they get up in the morning, they have their coffee just like anybody else. And these people are destroying people's lives. They stole tens of thousands of dollars from us. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that in this video. I will in another video. They tried to shut us down because we took legal action against eBay. It was absolutely horrible for us. We had, over $1 million of stock that we all of a sudden couldn't sell because our store was closed. It led to financial ruin. People lost their jobs. There was a suicide. It's just, this is just real serious stuff. And so we were adamant that we were pressing criminal charges against the individuals, and that's why we went the legal route, and we have no regrets whatsoever about that. So if you go to Cause Chambers Westgarth website, they do have a website. Just to show you the sort of firm. So here they are. They're proudly saying, #1 Australian independent law firm for M&A, so mergers and acquisitions deals. If you go on the page, they say, why they're so great. And they actually have this quote: a top tier law firm, so they're kind of speaking the third person, that boasts, blah, 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 quoted by themselves. So they couldn't even find a client to quote. So that already gives you some idea about the kind of firm that you're dealing with. Now, as I said before, these are individuals. So these are the individuals who actually represent eBay. Simon Johnson, so he's one of the partners of the firm. By the way, we haven't modified these photos or tried to make them look funny or anything, so they've got a good enough job of doing that themselves. So that's Simon. You've got Frida Chan, Robin, and the one you'll probably deal with is the lowest of them all. So this is Bianca, and yeah, I think she's an associate now. She was a graduate, so they just get the most junior person. Obviously, they feel that eBay is not really worth their time. So this is probably who you'll deal with, but it is worth, I think, just emailing all of them. So it's just first name dot last name at cors, CORS, .com.au. Then if you really piss them off, then this was actually the name of the person in at the beginning of this video with that signed what I showed you at the start. And this guy, so again, just to give you a flavor of what kind of firm these guys are, it says that he's worked with Channel 7 Melbourne, and they're a TV station. We contacted the board of 7 West Media, and they actually said that he hadn't done any work for them for like over a decade. And yet he's proudly saying that, yeah, I represented these clients. So the fact that he's basically done nothing in all that time shows you what kind of person he has. They requested that we didn't release that letter publicly, so that's why I'm not showing it here. That's 7 West Media. And if you actually look this guy up, so he was the legal representative of Archbishop Powell. So Archbishop Powell had a senior position in the Catholic Church, and he was convicted of sexually abusing adolescents. So these are people that were like 10, 11, 12 years old, going to church on the weekend, good Catholic family, and having the dick of some old man, a priest, somebody that they're meant to admire and look up to. And as you can imagine, this caused serious, mental anguish to these young individuals. A lot of them have grown up with depression and drug abuse and suicide and all these sort of things. And this guy was the legal representative of Archbishop Powell, and he obviously doesn't have a problem with old men going around and sexually abusing young innocent children. And not only that, he actually had the audacity to say to the parents of the victim that basically the reason that your children are so screwed up is because of you. You can read the exact words that he used here. Again, this is all publicly available information, reported in the media. So again, just these are the kind of individuals that you're actually dealing with. And to make things even more bizarre, this man has been awarded an Order of Australia medal, which I don't even know exactly what it is. No one really talks about it in Australia, but no one really cares. But it's some award bestowed by the Governor General, which is the sort of representative of the Queen, because Australia is a Commonwealth nation. So it's kind of a big deal. And we actually asked the Governor General's office why he was awarded the Order of Australia Medal. We didn't give context. We didn't say why we're asking. We just said, we'd like to know why. And they refused. They refused to reveal that information. Now, if you won a gold medal and somebody asks you what event did you win the gold medal in, and they refuse to tell you, then you would think that's pretty weird, and you'd want to ask some questions about that. So, look, I want to stick to facts. I don't know why they're refusing that, but they did. So, but anyway, that's what you can do if you want to take legal action against eBay, at least in Australia and New Zealand. That is the legal firm that you're dealing with, Cause Chamber Westgarth. And, I really sincerely wish you all the best of luck. I think that these people shouldn't get away with the crimes that they commit each and every day, robbing money from hardworking individuals. And there are very serious consequences of the crimes that they commit. So I really encourage you that if you have a sense of justice and you have a sense of, the value system that you believe in, then you should pursue it. You should never be bullied or intimidated by a bully. Yes, eBay is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, but they're made up of individuals just like you and I, and they are dangerous individuals. White collar crime is far worse because these people, they have power, they have authority, and they can abuse that, and they do abuse that, and they have money. But that doesn't mean that the bad guy always has to win.